Great. So I would like to start my words today by joining others in expressing my inspiration, but also my deepest gratitude to the founder of the World Toilet Organization, Mr. Jack Sim. The importance of good sanitation is of the highest criticality to our global society. Without the work of Jack and the team at WTO, many in the world might not understand the scale of the challenges that still exist today, or indeed how to respond to those challenges. The WTO enables us all to make a difference. As the President and CEO of ICTI Ethical Toy Program, I am pleased to support the work of the WTO and also to receive their support in improving sanitation standards at the manufacturing sites, and I hope in the longer term in the communities of factory workers. But let me introduce myself. My name is Carmel Giblin, and as I said, I am the President and CEO of ICTI Ethical Toy Program. Over the next few minutes, I would like to share with you my thoughts on the need and importance of toilets in the workplace. Let me first share a little information about our organization. IETP, which is our short name, was established nearly 20 years ago. We're a not-for-profit labour standards organisation. We were created through effective collaboration in response to concerns regarding the treatment and working conditions for workers in global toy manufacturing. In the establishment process, we included workers, factory owners, the customers of those factories, and civil society. Today, we work with around 1,000 factories who in peak production time will be workers. We also work with the customers of those factories. These customers are major retailers and brands many of you will know, for example, Disney, Lego, Walmart, and Tesco. We're a global organisation, but the majority of the factories we work with are located in China, Southeast Asia countries, and India. Our objective was, and still is today, to ensure workers in factories are respected. There is no exploitation, for example, no child or forced labour, and the workplace is safe. Safe working conditions cover all aspects of worker health for us. This includes the safety of the building, of processes involving the handling of chemicals and machinery, and of course, provision of good sanitation. People are the greatest asset for any business, and workers in factories who manufacture goods are the most critical part of a stable supply chain. Without stable supply chains, businesses and communities would fail. Deliveries of essential items simply would not happen. At IETP, we consider access to clean water, sanitation, hygiene and health information, all basic rights for all people. I learned from the WTO website of the financial benefit of providing basic sanitation. This tells us that for every dollar invested, the return is $2.50. And when basic sanitation is provided for rural communities, every dollar invested saves more than $5 in medical costs, as well as increasing the community's productivity. This should be compelling enough data to drive us all to do everything we can to improve access to decent sanitation wherever we have influence and impact. IETP certified factories are required to provide decent sanitation, access to clean water, health checks, and hygienic work, canteen, and dormitory areas for all workers. We require, for example, that there are sufficient number of toilets available, that they are maintained in good condition, have doors and walls for privacy, have lighting, ventilation, and toilet paper. There must also be hand washing facilities. For those factories who have dormitories for workers, they must also provide shower or bathing facilities with hot water. If I can make my technology work, I'm just going to show you very briefly a couple of slides which show good examples and bad examples of what we have seen in factories. So let me just see if I can make this work. Okay, perfect. So if you can see my screen, the slide that is on the screen now shows you of some of the situation that we would see in factories when we first go into a factory. You can see these are pretty horrific examples of what very bad looks like. Clearly, washrooms and toilet facilities are meant to be places where hygiene is enabled. In these environments, you can see that the spread of disease would be very easy and also not very encouraging for workers to actually use. With our advice and with the advice and guidance of also organizations like the WTO, we would hope to see this. And this is what we see in well-run, well-organized factories. You have clear and tidy bathrooms. There is liquid soap and hand dryers provided, a flushing tank, and also a privacy door, which is really important. There's toilet paper available. There's visible signs to indicate this is a bathroom, and there's air blowers. We also have instructions in many facilities on the use of the facilities provided, helping people to use them with confidence, but also maintain them to a standard that means others will continue to be encouraged to use them. Let me just go back if I can. Perfect. So we have these requirements in place in our program because we believe they are vital for worker health. This year, we have all had to deal with COVID-19, a virus that has impacted everyone, everywhere. Johns Hopkins University reported that 1 million people had died from coronavirus as of the 28th of September. This number has and will continue, sadly, to increase. And the most effective way to prevent the virus spreading is good hygiene, by simply washing your hands. For many, that sounds simple, but for too many, it is impossible. If workplaces have good sanitation and hand washing facilities available, the spread of the virus can be slowed. But even before COVID-19, good sanitation made good business sense. Poor sanitation and hygiene results in poor health. If your workers remain in good health, there will be benefits to production volumes. Less time will be lost through worker illness. The team at IETP have spent a lot of time at factories talking directly with workers. We also have operated a worker helpline for more than a decade. Through these channels, we asked workers about their needs and concerns. The biggest concern this year was their family's health and that of their own. A lot of factory workers felt conflicted about returning to work after enforced shutdowns in case they became infected with COVID-19. But the necessity to earn left them with little choice. It was therefore even more critical than ever before for factories to ensure they understood their workers' worries and demonstrated clearly that they are committed to protecting them. This gave workers confidence, and we saw factories to return to full capacity very quickly after the enforced shutdowns implemented to prevent the spread of the virus. I hope I have shown the critical importance of toilets and good hygiene generally in the workplace. If not already, then there are many more reasons why companies should make decent provision for their workers. If I think about China, and China being the world's largest manufacturing country so far, it's changing in China. People there are not as interested to work in factories as they were many years ago. Factories, therefore, are faced with a serious business threat, labour shortages. A key business priority now for many of the factories I speak with is worker attraction and retention. Workers have expectations about the environments in which they work, and an employer who provides a decent working environment will be more attractive than one whose facilities are poor or absent. It is also important to understand the needs of women in the workplace. Women are more than 60% of the production workforce in IETP certified factories. In some countries, this figure is actually over 80%. Providing menstruating women with the facilities they require to feel comfortable in the workplace is critical. Workplace morale and satisfaction is also important. A happy worker is a productive worker. That is simple. If you know you are respected and your well-being is important to your boss, you will respect them too and work with more motivation and diligence. It is very clear access to clean toilets and sufficient hand washing facilities have a positive impact on workplace relations and business performance. If present, they will help support the business success, and if absent, it will be hindered. In 2015, IETP launched a specific program of work to achieve greater impacts for workers above and beyond the basic expectations of providing a safe working environment with no exploitation and with workers' rights respected. We launched our Family Friendly Factories program. This program is working to establish the global standard for family-friendly factories. This program was developed in response to workers who told us that childcare and positive parenting were areas they wanted support with. Our program initially focused in supporting parents and their children in China. And to explain why China, then there is a very large number, in fact, tens of millions of children who live apart from their parents. For most, they will only be reunited once a year. They are called left behind children. Their parents have migrated domestically for work, and due to a variety of reasons, they're unable to take their children with them. So the children stay at home in their hometowns, cared for by grandparents and other family members. Through a range of programs, we have enabled some families to be together during the school holidays, helped parents develop their parenting skills, which has enabled them to build and maintain children, even though they are separated by distance, and provided after-school centres for those lucky enough to have their children live with them. These programs have benefited more than 12,000 children so far, and part of our work that I am most proud of. The business and personal benefits have been clear and measurable. 121% increase in employer-employee trust, a 39% increase in the retention of workers, which, as I mentioned, is a critical business challenge, and a 321% increase in workers' trust in management. This year, working parents were even more concerned than ever about the separation from their children, particularly in regard to their children's health. The hometowns of many workers are mostly rural communities where decent sanitation is not always in place. IETP hopes to work with the World Toilet Organization to implement their Rainbow Schools Toilet program in some of the hometowns of the workers. We know making this happen will provide significant benefits for the factories, even though they may be thousands of miles away. Workers will be proud that they work for a company who cares about them and their families. In closing, I would urge all who understand the necessity and benefits of good workplace and community sanitation to tell everyone they can about the WTO. A slightly more agile WTO than maybe the better known World Trade Organization. This WTO is accessible to all and enables everyone to make a difference. I'd like to congratulate Jack and all at the WTO for their achievements so far, and for all of those who have been supportive of their work. I look forward to working with the WTO to deliver better sanitation for workers and their families all around the world. If anyone has any questions for me, then I'm happy to answer them on the Q&A function. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share my thoughts. Enjoy the rest of this annual summit. I know it will inspire us all to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmel, for sharing your views and your work in this industry. It's really an unmet need which needs a lot of attention. Looking forward to a wonderful cooperation and collaboration with you in future.